October 2nd, 2018.
Motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll sign that. All right, we're going to start the meeting off with case number 2018.06.12A, a continuation on the case of Mr. Ronald Olivera of 5 Arches Way, Acushnet, who was requesting a 25-foot variance to be able to construct a detached garage to be located outside the established 75-foot setback line for retreat lots on map 4, lot 39H. This request is being made under the provisions of local zoning bylaw, Article 8, and Massachusetts General Law 48. Mr. Olivera? Okay, this is Mr. Olivera or anybody representing him? Okay, this has been a continuance for 3 months. We've requested, the town clerk's requested Mr. Olivera to come in and sign a letter of withdrawal. He has not responded. Amanda contacted, left him a message.
Clerk's office, right?
So he's been notified a couple of times. He hasn't responded to any of our requests. I'm gonna put this applicant, Mr. Ronald Olivera, to a vote.
Yes.
Make a motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Signify by raising your right hand, please. Unanimous? Okay, case number B. Case number 2018.06.12B. A continuation on a case of Miss Leanne Pereira of 8 Cushman Street, Acushnet, who was petitioning for a special permit to build an accessory apartment. This request is being made under the provisions of Section 3.3.1, Resident A District, and Section B1, Accessory Apartments. Okay. We have received a letter of withdrawal on this case.
Oh.
Case from Victor and Leanne Pereira, 8 Cushman Street, Acushnet, Mass., September 19th, 2018, to Board of Appeals. Withdrawal of special permit for accessory apartment at 8 Cushman Street. I am notifying the board that the special permit request for an accessory apartment at 8 Cushman Street is being withdrawn. Thank you for attention to this matter. Okay. We're going to move on to case number 2018.08.07B. This is a continuation on the case of Mr. Kevin Payne of 561 Main Street, Acushnet, who's requesting a special permit to be able to open and operate a hunting, fishing, and firearms retail store located at his 561 Main Street property. This request is being made under the provisions of Article 8, Section 3.3.1B, 11. Mr. Payne or a representative thereof.
Gentlemen, my name is, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alvin Newman. I'm an attorney. I have offices in New Bedford. The law firm is called Friedland and Newman. We're at 13 South 6th Street in the city of New Bedford. I'm a little concerned that we don't have a 5-member board.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We do.
We do?
We do.
I'm an
good.
alternate.
Oh, okay. All right. I was told that you were, I'm sorry, I
She's
apologize.
the recording secretary and an alternate member.
Oh, okay, all right, now I understand. I was told that she was just the secretary. Gentlemen, I have a package I'd like to give to you. There's 5 of these, 1 for each member. Oops, it doesn't look here. Thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know if you've had a chance to go take a look at the property in question. So I also have a picture of the property to give to each of you. This is the site where he wants to put the business in question. This picture, by the way, comes from the town of Acushnet Assessor's Office. As you can see, the building that he wants to use, and he's planning on using 1,000 square feet of it, is a freestanding building. It was built as a commercial building back in 1970, before zoning was in effect in the town. And he would like to put in a retail store for hunting, fishing, and a firearms business. The building that you're looking at has been used in the past for commercial purposes. You can see that it is strictly designed for commercial use. You couldn't use it for anything else. The property record cards for the town of Acushnet indicate that the property at that location is listed as residential commercial. I'm not sure that means anything, but that's how the assessor's office has it set up. I point out to the board that back in 2006, Mr. Payne asked for a special permit for a realtor's office and a religious meeting room, and that was allowed back in 2006. Although it never happened. For some reason, I think financial reasons, it just, nothing ever went in there. Mr. Payne has owned the property since December of 2003, and he has not put any business in there. But he would like to put a business in there now. I point out to the board that the property has been used in the past as a bus company, a taxi company, a flea market, sewing shop. There was a coin shop in there. And when Mr. Payne went into the building, when he bought it in 2003, he found an indoor mini golf area inside the building. I point out also to the board that within a half mile of the property there exists existing businesses, a sign painting business, there's a doll store, there's 2 restaurants, all within a half mile, a hardware store, and apple orchard selling product. I would also point out that allowing the retail use of the property would not be detrimental to the neighborhood. As you can see, the building was designed and built solely for commercial use. The design as a commercially styled building couldn't be used for anything else without redesigning it and significant expense. As I indicated earlier, he only plans to use 1,000 square feet of that building. I looked at your zoning bylaws to determine what kind of parking spaces he would need on the 1,000 square feet. He would need 5. You can see from the picture, there's substantially more than 5 parking spaces once that area gets cleaned up. The property was previously used for business. There's multiple retail businesses around that area, and the property does have adequate off-street parking that would not result in traffic congestion or traffic hazard. Mr. Payne, I give you a copy of this. Mr. Payne went around to his neighbors, and they all have no objection to him putting in a business in that location, with the exception of the Aguiars, who are here tonight. I was told that at a previous meeting, there was a question about work that may have to be done at the property. And it's my understanding that the building department, the building commissioner, sent a letter to the board addressing that issue. Does the board have the letter? It's under date of September 17th.
I do not have that letter.
Oh, I didn't make multiple copies. I only have that one copy.
We're gonna read it into the record since we don't all have one.
Then I get it.
If you wanna continue, or you want me to read it into it now?
That's fine.
Just so everybody's up to speed with what's going on, because we didn't get this letter. I don't think we received it because he wasn't denied, because he's applying for a special permit.
Yes.
And you don't have to be denied to come to this board. for a special permit, you only have to get a denial for a variance.
Yeah, it was my understanding, Mr. Chairman, that at a previous meeting that I was not at, there were questions raised about the status of the building itself.
There was.
So Mr. Payne went to your building commissioner and asked him, said, I'm not aware of any problems, and that letter right there is the result of his having gone to your building commissioner.
We'll get into some of that detail after, because the residents that are here, they're gonna probably bring some of that up. We'll address it as we go along.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna read this into the record for now, because this is the first time I see this. Again, because it's a special permit and not a variance. We wouldn't have been notified, because he hasn't been denied of anything yet. Okay, so this is coming from the Town of Acushnet Building Department, September 17th. Mr. Kevin Payne, 561 Main Street, Acushnet, Mass. Dear Kevin, you have inquired about building code requirements in reference to your application to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the relationship between the two. I assure you the two issues are not related. The board has complete control over allowed uses as listed for special permits in the residential zone. Under the provisions of 3.4A, special permits, the board has the right to determine the proposed benefits to the town, whereby 3.3.1B11 allows retail stores and services which provide adequate off-street parking, and 3.3.1B14 allows storage and distribution warehousing subject to reasonable screening and landscaping requirements, and you could be responsible for both. Once a special permit has been granted, the responsibility now falls on the building department to ensure both code and law are in compliance with the intended use. As you are aware, there are certain issues because of the size of the building which will require a plan stamped by a licensed professional in the state of Massachusetts. This licensed professional will also be required to take into consideration the intended use and ensure all portions of the structure meet the minimum requirements of the building code by signed document before a certificate of compliance can be issued by the town. The zoning board may have its own requirements relative to use in residential zone, hours of operation, lighting, parking, signage, and current conformance of the zoning code, which by state law also falls on the building commissioner as zoning enforcement officer. They also have the right to perform an inspection of their own before a certificate can be used if they so wish. Let me see, under 3.3.1E8, minimum setback requirements for all uses other than a single-family use. A, rear 50 feet, side 30 feet, front 50 feet. Please let me know if there are any questions which I may help you with. Sincerely, James Matter. Okay. A couple of things that I didn't understand myself, but that I was going to ask some questions about. But anyway, if you want to continue, I just wanted to read that into the record so that everybody sees here's what's going on.
Mr. Payne is planning on putting in hunting, fishing, and firearms business. I'm sure that you would be concerned about. He does have a federal firearms permit. He's just waiting to see whether or not you'll grant him this space. He did run a firearms business in New Bedford. The rent at the location became too expensive for the amount of business he was doing in New Bedford. So he has his own building right next door to his home. So that's the purpose of his coming before the board, to ask permission to put in a hunting, fishing, firearms business at that location. I have nothing additional. If you have any questions of me or Mr. Payne, we'll be happy to address them. I know there'll be issues about lighting. If any issues about lighting, we will comply with your zoning bylaws. Any issues about signage, we will comply with your zoning bylaws. And go through the building commissioner to make sure that gets done. So I hope I've addressed some of the issues. If there's any others, I'll be happy to try to address them.
Okay. We're going to open it up to the public and see if any of the public wants to speak for or against this.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
How many, you're gonna use 1,000 square foot in the building?
Yes.
Can you tell me how many square foot the building is, the total building, sir?
Yes, just give me a second to get out my...
No, that's fine.
I got a feeling we're not going to be able to finish this meeting tonight. because there's too many questions about distances, there's no setbacks, there's no plot plan, there's no layout
No,
of the
I
building, so.
understand.
So a lot of these things we're gonna try to address tonight, but some of the things we're not gonna be able to finalize until we get ready to put it to a vote, a final vote. But for that reason, we don't have enough information in front of us, there's no parking plan. Even though there's a lot of parking, there's no plan. And you should have a parking plan in a business. That would be one of my first questions. There should be a plot plan laid out with lighting, any kind of blockage of the
I think he
lighting
was
of the
trying,
neighbors.
I think he was trying to get a feel from the board, whether they would consider granting him the use permit before he spent the funds to.
Well, we want to make sure that, the reason why I'm saying that is we want to make sure that when we vote on this, we know what we're voting on.
Okay,
We can agree to something, but there's still no plans in place, no dimensional plans in this packet at all.
right, I agree, yes.
So without any dimensional plans of the
Right.
property layout, the building layout going to be used, what are they going to use for signage, what are they going to use for lighting, that can all be determined, and we can put that into play.
All right,
But without the plans with the dimensions on it, we're kind of stuck in limbo right now.
no, I
So, but I'm
understand.
gonna still let everybody, I'm gonna let everybody that wants to talk tonight, because everybody's here tonight. In fact, I thought that the neighbors weren't gonna be able to show up, so I was gonna ask for a continuance myself. Because
10,108,
that's
Thank you, sir.
that's the total building size.
yes.
What part of that building's gonna be used for the business?
He said, what he.
That's why we need a plan,
Right, I understand,
okay? We need details.
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna let everybody speak, because everybody's here tonight.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to be fair to everybody, so everybody gets their say, okay? I wish we had had that letter last meeting. We couldn't open the meeting anyhow.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name's Matthew Vienna. I'm of the law offices of Beauregard, Burke, and Franco. I'm here on behalf of attorneys Philip Beauregard and Richard Burke. They couldn't be here tonight. And I represent Robert and Cynthia Aguiar, who are abutters of the premises in opposition to the petition for a special permit. The Aguiars, they share approximately 600 feet abutting the property that's under consideration here. Now, as an initial matter, I would be remiss if I did not point out that board member Carol Westgate is on the abutters list here. And
It's
back,
in the office, they put out.
Okay.
back,
I'm just stop right there for a second. We have a letter by Mrs. Westgate, the disclosure of appearance of conflict of interest. The disclosure form is here, it's filed in the selectman's office, so she would be a voting member.
okay, I'd also just like to point out, back in 2012, she had also recognized herself as an abutter before she did recuse herself before voting on a matter involving a special permit application filed by the current petitioner. So we are respectfully insisting that Ms. Westgate recuse herself from the proceedings.
No, I'm
on
not
this
going to.
petition.
She has filed the paperwork with the selectman's office disclosing her abutter as being on, and at the last meeting, I think it was the last meeting or the meeting
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
she said she didn't think she was on the abutters list because she didn't get notified. I went and checked in the office upstairs and found out that she was on the abutters list and had to notify her that if she wanted to vote on this case, she had to disclose that she's an abutter. She has done that, it's all filed in the clerk's office. So,
Understood. So I'll move on to the substance and the merits of the petition here. And the standard for consideration for a special permit's familiar to you. You know, the proposed use here really does conflict with numerous public health, safety, convenience, and welfare concerns. And I'd like to offer as an exhibit a factual brief, if I may. I do have 5 copies here. This was drafted by Mr. Aguiar.
No.
yeah, it would be nice to get this stuff before the meeting starts. I appreciate you giving it to us, but we're not gonna read all of this tonight.
No, I understand. There are many exhibits and attachments to that, but you'll find that really the meat and potatoes is about 4 or 5 pages or so. Now, that demonstrates a myriad of issues that the history of this property and the proposed use present. Included in that brief also is a report by Alan Clooney of Clooney Engineering, in which he also documents the serious issues that are on the property presently. And as you'll note in there, one of the major safety concerns is the presence of very large oil tanks that are very close to the Aguiar's boundary. There have also been serious rodent problems that the Aguiars have been encountering that originate from that premises. And just the building conditions alone, I mean, there have been pictures submitted by both sides here. The building conditions are deplorable. Now, while it's our argument that a special permit should not issue at all, the board should certainly, at the very least, continue the matter and condition that its final consideration be subject to certification by Mr. Payne by an engineer that it is in compliance with all the laws.
Absolutely.
And the petitioner should be able to agree with that if he intends to really operate a business that's in full compliance. Now, in further support of the opposition, really the nature of a fishing, hunting, and firearms retail space, it's not in accordance with the spirit of the town of Acushnet's bylaws and the residential district where it's being proposed. First, it'd be located in a primarily residential neighborhood. The proposed use, it would take place within 2 miles from Francis Xavier School, approximately 3 miles from the town elementary and middle schools. And there are also 2 other firearms retail shops in town. One's located just 1 mile away. It's also in a residential district. The other is approximately 2.3 miles away from the premises here. That is in a business district, I believe. But if the board were to grant a special permit here, one could drive through Acushnet and encounter 3 firearms dealers in approximately 3.3 mile drive. It makes no sense to grant a special permit for a 3rd gun shop with 2 out of 3 of those located in the residential district. Personally, I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment, but in these circumstances and in these times, the ZBA should be denying a proposal like this. And finally, if you look at the substance of the petition itself, it really has many deficiencies, factual and just the substance. You know, there are things missing here that, Mr. Chairman, you pointed out, of no parking plan, no plot plan, but there are also factual questions that arise. You'll see that he lists the property as containing 3 pre-existing buildings and that they are empty or for storage. You'll see from the documents that I've submitted that it's pretty well known that there's been someone residing in one of those part of the building there without the proper certifications. So for all these reasons and the numerous deficiencies, the board should deny the petitioner a special permit or continue the matter until the petitioner brings and obtains a certification from an engineer showing that it's in compliance with the law. Any less would simply push this matter further toward litigation. You know, and I guess just in conclusion, Attorney Human, he indicated that the premises has been used, put to commercial use in the past. Certainly not a fishing, hunting, and firearms. And with that, that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak? Guys in the back want to speak?
Yeah, I'll speak.
Under the podium, state your name and your address for the record.
Yeah, no problem. Excuse me. Good evening, board. My name is John Peters. I live at 537 Main Street, Acushnet, obviously. Peters Orchard. I have no problem with Mr. Payne, you know, going forth and seeking a business like that. As far as the rodent problem, my take on that is the abandoned landfill that's in the back. And, you know, that property that he is previously on, you know, owns at the present moment. And the previously owner his intended use is a heck of a lot better than what it was used for in the past. To run a landfill, that was, I could tell you stories about that, but that isn't the nature of this discussion tonight. I have no qualms with him doing anything, and I'll support him in any way, shape, or form. And I think the rodent problem stems from that landfill, which, that's a whole nother story in itself. Like I said, it has to be addressed at some point. But that's all I'd like to say, and I have, I'm in favor of it, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, I want to go back to the letter that the building inspector submitted, and there are things that we don't have in front of us tonight. Mr. Agia, would you like to speak on?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Agia?
No, thank you.
There's a whole host of things that need to be done. Even if this permit is approved, he's gonna have to jump through hoops with every board in this town, including state recommendations. So to say that, he doesn't have a long, hard road ahead of him, it would be putting it mildly. I don't feel like we have enough information to vote on this tonight. We don't have any dimensional plans. I don't have a parking plan. I don't have a lighting plan. There's no signage recommendations.
Hours of operation.
Hours of operation, barriers to cut down on lighting for the next door neighbor. There's got to be some stuff put in place before we could even consider putting this to a vote. Now, that's probably some of the easier part than what he's going to have to go through, because he's going to probably have to go through to have the buildings certified by a state engineer. That's my guess, a structural engineer. I don't know if any of the board members are interested in taking a walkthrough. If they want to do that, I don't think it would be a bad idea between now and our next meeting. So we get a better idea. I mean, I see the picture of the outside of the building, and there's a whole packet here that I haven't read yet either. There's also a list of abutters. There's 15 abutters that are in favor of this project. I don't believe many of them are here tonight, though.
Yeah, Harold's here.
We got
John
one,
Peters here.
two, so 2 out of 15 are here. Does it matter if they're here or not? They're signing a letter saying they're in agreement with the plan. I don't know how they could be in agreement with the plan when they haven't even seen the plan. So, do any board members have the interest in taking a look at the building?
Yeah, I'll go look.
Sure.
Mr. Payne, is that okay with you?
Yes.
What's,
If we were to do that and
Yeah.
go together, I have to post it as a meeting, so just let me know when.
we do have to post it, and it's gonna be 14 days, and
Yep, and we can't deliberate. We just have to do a walkthrough. But we'll all be there together, so it'd be
I'm gonna have
wise to
coffee, don't
post it. Do you providing?
so we have to post it, and which means you have to wait at least 2 weeks from the time you,
No,
Can't.
open meeting laws, 48 hours.
oh, it's only 48 hours.
Yeah, it's not a hearing.
Okay. I'm just throwing it as a suggestion
Yeah.
right now, because I don't know what everybody wants to do. There's too much missing.
When is Mr.
And is it
Senrez
cool?
on vacation?
Mhm.
When is Mr. Senrez?
I'm back, I just came back.
Okay.
I'm going again, though, thank you.
Next year.
Got Thanksgiving coming up, and...
How about this
What's your
Saturday?
schedule
Week
look
and a
like?
half.
Mr. Payne, what is your schedule? Are you available anytime?
Yep. What about this Saturday?
This time.
It's gotta be posted.
No.
It's gotta be posted 48
48
hours.
Yeah,
hours, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
week out, well, yeah, it's
Today's
weekdays.
today's Tuesday.
I don't think we have to set the time right now, because I'd have to draft.
She gotta set up,
Agenda
she
to
gotta set up
post
the
it,
paper,
so-
and then send it over to the
We can
paper.
go through Paul if we need to agree on a time, and I'll post it with Pam.
Does it have to be posted in the
I'd have to double check, but I don't
No,
believe
but
so,
does
because
it
it's
just
not
have to be
hearing.
posted
Public
here?
hearings have to go into the newspaper. It's not a hearing, there's no deliberation. It's just a quorum.
This is a
But we
walkabout.
can't- Yeah, no deliberation.
You just have to post it in here?
As far as I know, I'll double check on it, though.
Well, I don't, I
It
think
just has to be 48 hours ahead of time,
I
correct?
think Saturday's a little
Weekdays,
close.
weekends don't count. Yep.
Why don't we, you guys gonna be in town next week? Next Saturday, do you guys, are they welcome to take a walk through with us?
Sure.
I'm just opening it up, I don't know if it's just the board or, I mean, we're gonna take a walk through, look around inside, and we're not structural engineers, so no matter what we see, I mean, it gives me a better visual of what's going on, but that's not the way it's gonna end up if the permits get issued. I mean, it's gonna have to be all corrected if there's anything wrong. How about the following Saturday?
Okay.
24th?
Then your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Saturday,
I can't
Saturday
make
after
promises.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the next meeting we're gonna have is probably gonna be December 4th.
We had nothing tonight.
We have nothing. Well, we have this, and I got a feeling we're gonna be doing a continuance on the next case too, because it's the same issue. We don't have enough information, there's no plot plan, there's no dimensions. So, we're gonna have at least this case and another case. We don't have anything else that's new bill, right? Well, we got two cases, we can come in, I guess we're gonna come in for them too. And by that point,
December 4th might be tough, well, with Thanksgiving in there, for me to post it into the paper for 2 weeks.
well, if you have to post it in the paper, that's gonna be tough, right?
No, I'm talking about the December meeting,
Oh,
not a walkthrough. But either way,
how about the 13th? I'm sorry.
The 11th?
11th, that works.
How about 11?
December 11th? Yeah.
That'll be our next meeting.
Yeah.
With the walkthrough. 17th.
The 11th is gonna be a zoning meeting or a walkthrough?
Regular is the 11th, it's our regular meeting.
December 11th is gonna be our next meeting here. I have to do a walkthrough, we gotta get in there somewhere between now and
I
then.
gotta talk to Pam, yeah, because it might be just the 48 and not the paper, which then that cuts down that time frame.
Yep, because that means if we try to schedule for next Saturday and you need to notify the newspaper, they don't have enough time to do that.
Correct.
What if we didn't go as a group? What if we went
We
singularly?
can go
Do we still-
individually. Yep. We can
Do we
go
still
over.
have to post it?
Mhm.
No,
No?
Okay.
no, because there's not, we're only posting because there'd be some sort of quorum,
Well,
if
if
there's a
there's-
group of us.
All right, so why don't we do it that way then? Because that way it's at everybody's convenience. If Mr. Payne's home, you're knocking on the door, he'll be glad to walk through, right? If the Aguirres want to go through with one of the board members, that's fine with, I can't tell you when I'm gonna be available. Are you guys interested in doing any of that now?
Their counsel would certainly like to be.
You would like to be?
Yes. I'm pretty open.
The office it's open. He says anybody can come and look at it. Anytime you want to go look at it, go knock on his door. You got his address?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it makes it easier for everybody that way, instead of everybody trying to meet at once. Things happen. So at any point between now and
December 4th or December
December
11th?
December
11th,
11th.
Yes,
Yep.
and-
expect some knocks on your door.
You want us to call you first, or is it,
I'm home after hours, so every night, so
What time you get home? What time you home?
usually the latest would be 5 o'clock.
Okay, so anytime after 5,
Yep.
over the next 3 or 4 weeks?
Yep.
Saturdays, Sundays, you're home?
Yep.
Okay. We'll leave it like that for now. Whoever makes it, makes it. Whoever doesn't, we'll discuss it at the next meeting. We need from Mr. Payne a plot plan, a building design plan for where it's going to be located in this building, so the area we're going to be looking at, we're not going to be able to see that information until the next meeting, obviously.
I actually submitted that for the meeting before,
Hang on a minute, maybe you did.
but if for some reason it got lost,
No, you know what happens is, I got this, I probably have it at home in my other folder.
Okay.
That's part,
That's all we got.
Which one's 2-page? Yep, I got it.
Good.
That's right here, Paul.
that's what I got right now.
You got it.
Okay. There's no dimensions on here. Again. So what we'd like you to do for the next meeting, even though we got something that's in black and white, but there's no dimensions on it, so it doesn't do us any good.
No side
It looks
setbacks
like,
or anything.
it looks like you're using that middle, what was the middle
That's
space?
correct, yep.
So if you could put some dimensions on a plan, put some dimensions from the side of your property to the neighbor's property, from the building to the neighbor's property, a parking plan in front where you're gonna park the cars, if you're gonna put any lights out in the parking lot, or you're just gonna use them on the building. If there needs to be any arborvitae's or anything put in to block off the lighting to the next door neighbors on either side, well, you're on one side anyway, so it wouldn't affect you. And hours of operation, current conformance of the zone. And unless the building inspector, I'm gonna have the building inspector go down and take a look at it
Okay.
and see what he recommends.
The hours of operation should have been on another paper somewhere.
Okay, I don't have that packet with me. So again, if you're gonna, it's not gonna make the meeting tonight or not.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just put that all together on a
Okay.
packet for us so we understand what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And I'll call the building inspector or stop in and talk to him. Find out if he needs to take a visual before, and if he needs to be at the meeting, next meeting, I'll have him come to the meeting too.
Okay.
That's about all we can do tonight, unless Mr. Aguirre wants to speak, or Mrs. Aguirre, anything to add, the lawyers? Neighbors, no? Okay, so we're gonna continue this meeting until December 11th.
December 11th?
December 11th, yeah.
December 11th. And Mr. Payne, we can have you sign this, or get a motion to continue?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The more information we have, the easier it is to make a decision on this case. I mean, there's a lot more. Even if we granted the special permit for that building's gonna have to be brought up to speed with everything from,
I understand, I probably spoke to
and there
Jimmy.
could be
and the things
even
I
other
need to do.
things that you might have to improve on that property that you might get into. So, you might be opening up a can of worms. But
No,
if you-
I already know what I need to do. It's
Okay.
just, I don't want to do all this until I know
Oh, no,
I can
you don't
put
have to do
something in
anything.
there.
Just
You know
submit the
what I mean?
paperwork. We're either gonna approve the special permit or we're not. And beyond that,
That's the only reason why I haven't done
everything's in
anything
your,
to the building.
everything's in your court after that. Because you have to meet all the obligations of all the departments in this town and a state engineer also. So, it's out of our hands once we vote on it. And even when we vote on it, I'm gonna let this public know about this too. Even when we vote on this, if it's approved, there's a 20-day waiting period. Anybody can appeal our decision to a Superior Court judge. And then you gotta take it to court and let a judge hear the case. So after that, we're done. Okay, so I'm just letting everybody know in the public that if they're against the project and they don't like the way we vote, all you have to do is go down to Superior Court and file paperwork, file an appeal, and then you and whoever disagrees with this board's decision can take it downtown and let a judge decide. Okay? And, okay, for you to sign.
If you just, I got mine right here, if you could just sign both of those, please. Yeah.
More copies for you.
There you go.
Okay, folks? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. You all set, Amanda?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go on to the next case. Good night, folks. Case number 2018.11.13A, the case of Mr. Anthony Lanzoni of 1474 Main Street, Acushnet, who was petitioning for a 12-foot sideline variance to be able to install a 12-foot deck. This request is being made under the provisions of section 3.3.9C of Lanzoni. Come on up, state your case.
Mrs. Lanzoni, you can
Shoot can come right up.
All right, good evening, board. My wife and I are building a new home in Acushnet, and upon getting the building permit, we had the engineering done, and once I gave them that, they realized, oh, you can't have the deck outside of the 75 foot. So I kept the house inside, but didn't realize the deck was part of that. So I asked the building inspector what my options were, and basically I went and tried to swap land with the abutter next to me. But he couldn't do that because of his septic system, where it lie. We wouldn't be able to change the footage that I needed to make it work. So, and then I basically just went to all of the abutters before I even brought this to an appeal, and to get a variance, and I asked if anybody had a problem, because I wouldn't go forth and I would just do whatever was allowed by the town. But I didn't get any backlash of anybody, negative feedback. Everybody seemed okay with it, as far as me bringing it before the board and seeing if I would possibly be able to put this deck on.
The house isn't built yet, right?
The house is
getting
under
there.
construction, but it isn't complete, no.
The deck is an addition to the house, though.
The deck is the egress from the back of the house.
The back of the house.
Yes, correct.
Oh. See, I don't have a plot plan, so I can't see where the house is in relation to the property.
Okay.
We're missing that information. So we don't know what the setbacks are from the rear to the property line. We don't, the only one I got is this. That's not a plot plan.
Okay.
That's a building design plan.
We must have it.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so we don't have that information, so you're looking for a variance, but let me share something with you. And I haven't got a chance to talk to the building department with, but I'm sure
Okay.
you must have read this. I thought this was the side deck you were looking for. I don't know where the 12-foot variance is supposed to be coming from. But in order to get a variance, you gotta show some kind of a hardship,
Okay.
and it can't be created by you. So if you moved your house so far back to the property line that you now constructed your house and you're too close to the property line and you're the one to put that house in that dimension, in that area, then you created the hardship. You created the hardship for not being able to have enough land behind you for a rear setback, and you created it.
Okay.
We can't grant that.
Okay.
So,
It was already well, I don't know.
The building?
Obviously, I don't really know. But it was already there. Like, the building was where it was when we bought the land. It was already zoned,
There was,
so we didn't know.
we had the
That's true.
setbacks.
that's true.
When
That's true. But the house, when was the house built?
It's going up right now.
I just got the
Okay.
building permit.
So why I'm asking that is because you're looking for a variance for the rear setback. The rear setback has to be 75 feet.
Right.
If you built that house within the 75-foot zone of that rear property line, and now you're asking us to intrude on that 75-foot buffer zone, that you created the hardship. So you would have had to have moved, even though you're looking for a variance, you created the problem that you're looking for us to fix, which we're not allowed to do. So you got the egress going out the back of the property.
I don't even have that.
Well, so the rear of this house, the line on the back of this house, how far is that away from your rear property line?
So 70, I think it's 78 feet.
Okay, so you got the 75 feet, so you wouldn't be here for
Oh,
that.
no, not, it's under, so it's 72 feet or something, but with a deck.
Is it the 75 minus the 12? Is that
Yes,
what it
yes,
is?
yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
you
sir.
take 75
I believe
minus
it was
12.
63.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yep. 60.
Well, that's what you're saying, but we don't have a plan that shows any of that to us in definitive.
I wasn't aware, I thought the
Definitive
town was putting the plot plan in with the
No,
with
the
all
town doesn't
that?
supply plot plans.
Okay, I didn't.
The engineer supplies plot plans,
Okay.
and the
And
homeowner
and
designs
that's-
engineered house plans, or their contractor designs
Okay.
them
Yeah.
submits them plans. What I'm getting at is, do you have any land in front of you?
I do,
How much land?
about the same.
So you could have moved the house 20 feet forward, and you wouldn't be here.
I couldn't because my septic is,
In the front lawn.
is in the front of it, that's where my
Yeah,
septic.
but you're putting a new house in now, right? So you're putting a new septic system in now?
Yes.
So then you would just move the septic system up that much more.
There wasn't any room to, I tried to.
Conservation wouldn't let you move it?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me.
See, I don't have any plans showing us any of that. I don't have any letter from conservation. I don't have anything from anybody.
Okay.
All I got is a picture of your house. It looks pretty nice on black and white too.
Thank you.
But that doesn't, and here's the other issue. And I haven't talked to the building department about this because I thought about this a little bit and I said, you don't have a plot plan, so we can't vote on it tonight.
That's okay.
I need to
Sorry to
talk,
waste your time. Honestly, we didn't know.
I'm just sharing some of this information with you. Most people don't
Gonna try
understand.
and make it easier for you.
Trying to make you understand where we are, what we're required to do and what we're not allowed to do.
Okay.
So, this is a letter from the building department, and this is where I kind of question, where's the plot plan? Because GH Engineering, Creative Home Design, did the layout of the house. This is from the building department dated September 27th. It says, "Dear Anthony, the application for construction on the above-mentioned property cannot be processed at this time as the buildable area of the lot is too small for the applied for project. A variance will be required from the Zoning Board of Appeals in order to accommodate construction of a normal dwelling. Please make your application for the variance to the ZBA, which is available from the town clerk." That's what made me think there was no plot plan. I looked for it, I don't have it, so I couldn't see how big the lot is.
Okay.
I can't see where the dimensions are from the side to the lot lines, from the rear of the house to the rear property line, from the front of the house to the front property line. We don't have the information.
Okay.
You understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Bring a
We-
plot plan.
We can't
Plot
vote on
plan with
this.
all the dimensions?
Yes.
We can't vote on this, and I don't understand why the lot is too small if they allowed a building permit to build the house.
Is this a brand new house?
Yes.
150-foot frontage, 60,000 square feet?
You got
Is that correct?
60,000 square
Retreat
feet?
lot.
Yep.
Oh, it's 120,000.
120,000.
20.
40-foot frontage,
Yes. Correct.
Okay,
so there should be more than...
so it's a retreat lot now.
Yes.
Right lot now, yeah.
Comes, how far down Main Street, where are you?
Right across
1
from
mile
Ashley.
exactly from Country Whip.
Yeah,
on
so
your right-hand
Ashley
side.
Orchards, I'm right across the street.
Not that I
Okay.
pointed out the mileage.
But it's a retreat lot?
Yes, yes.
You got almost 3 acres of land back there,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
So you've not been denied to build the house, right?
No, no.
Is
You
there
No,
a
I
lot
have
of
a building
wetlands?
permit. I'm,
Because you have to be, on a retreat lot, you have to be 75 feet away from any property line,
yes.
whether it's side or rear, if I'm correct. Like this come through, first case we just voted on tonight. And the guy ended up moving his garage from one side of the house to the other side of the house. He had to figure out how to, he had plenty of land on that side, I don't know why he didn't just do it over there in the
The
first
way
place.
these lots were laid out, it was very, little a box. I had a box, but Alan Ewing did the engineering. He wasn't aware of the, because he didn't bring that up to me before I brought the plans to
What do
the
you mean,
town.
he wasn't aware of the setbacks?
Yes, yes.
He's an engineer, and you don't know
Well,
setbacks?
I'm not, just, that's,
It was a
it was a
surprise
surprise to us when we went, and we were like, what do you mean? Like, I had it all engineered, everything was,
I mean,
so.
I'm still gonna require you to come in with the information I requested,
Yes, sir.
so that we can make a good determination. And I really shouldn't talk about this now, because if the back of that house meets the setbacks, and you're adding a deck on that's gonna interfere with the setback, we're making it a non-conforming issue, which is what we're not allowed to do. That's why I have a problem with this, because it's not like, even though you created the hardship, if you have to put a stairway out there to get you out of the back of the house, and we have to give you a variance now because there was some miscommunication somehow, then if I have to give you a variance, I give you a variance for the deck If I'm gonna give it to you for 2 feet, I'm gonna give it to you for 15 feet. It doesn't make any difference at that
I
point.
see what you're saying.
But if it's, and I don't understand, I don't know what this is about here. I mean, this is not a big deal,
Okay,
but we're not in the habit of giving variances away
I understand.
because people don't do their homework.
No, I understand.
As far as moving the house, you're looking for, what is it, a 12-foot variance or something?
Yes, correct.
You could have moved the house up 12 feet, and the septic system could have been moved 12 feet, I'm sure.
Unfortunately, I couldn't because of my front porch as well. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't, I
Well,
wouldn't.
you would have to show me a design plan
Okay, yeah.
with the septic system
Okay.
to prove that argument.
No, I understand.
Because I can sit here and listen to you, but if I don't see it in black and white, an
Nope.
engineered plan,
Yep.
and I can turn around and say, well, you could have done this, if you got 200 feet in front of the house, I don't know why you can't put your septic system 12 feet closer to the road, if this is the front of your house. Your
Is there a
septic
lot of
system-
wetlands?
Yes.
Oh, you got
A lot of
you
wetlands.
got
I have a
wet-
lot of wasted, I have 3 acres, but really it's basically an
All the rest
acre.
is not
The rest of
something
it's
you
all
use.
wet.
Okay, so did you have to go through conservation, and they gave you any stipulations from conservation?
Not that I'm not sure. I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Did you go to a meeting with conservation?
No, I did
No.
not.
Okay, so there was no
So-
conservation issues then?
No.
There may be conservation lands around there, but again, and
We
I'm
were
not
told
someone...
when we bought it by the man we bought it from that this was conservation land, so maybe it's not.
Well,
Never listened to the
no, it's very possible that there's conservation land all around the edges. But I'm saying, if you had to put a septic system in,
Yes.
you had to have it so many feet away from
The well,
the conservation
oh,
area.
okay, yeah.
They're not gonna let you put a septic system in conservation area. So you would have to have enough upland,
Yeah.
what they call upland,
Okay.
to be able to put your house and a septic system in upland.
Okay.
So that means that lot was sold, it had to have X amount of percentage of upland included in the total size of the lot.
Okay.
When I think, I don't know what that number is exactly, I think it's on 120,000 square lot, retreat lot, I think uplands is 40,000 square feet, or might even be 60,000.
Okay.
So you have plenty of land to put a septic system in and a house. I don't want to beat a dead horse, we're gonna have to just wait
Thank you
till
for
you
your
bring.
time, sorry that we wasted it, we didn't
You're
know.
not wasting our time.
That's why we get paid the big
I
dollars.
don't mind trying to help you. You know, I'll do anything to help people. That's what this board's here for. But a lot of people come in here blind and they don't know what they're doing or what they should have been doing.
Yeah.
Because not everybody builds their own house,
Clearly
tries to
not.
become the GC of the job. And most people that do, they find out the hard way, that they end up in front of this board and then other boards.
Yes.
And they may end up getting what they want, but sometimes they don't.
No, ultimately, we knew that,
So you bring as much information to the next meeting. If you want to request a continuance, we'll have you do that.
Okay, could we request?
Okay, so, I can have a motion to continue?
Make a motion to.
Second?
All in favor of continuing this case till December 11th?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Amanda's got a paper for you to sign, bring as much information next meeting as you can.
Okay.
And if you don't have it, get it, find something else. You must have an engineer.
Did everything from
One of these
conservation?
fine, this just shows.
No,
the
conservation, yeah, I'm surprised you don't have you must have a plot plan from
I
it.
have
That's
the
right.
plot.
Shows all the flag
Yep, I
positions,
have the plot plan and everything, yeah.
shows all the flag positions of where all the wetlands are, it'll draw a line, it'll give elevations.
Yeah, I have all
So
that.
you have one and I have one.
I wasn't aware that
Do we have to sign off on the minutes, Amanda?
Yes.
I have, right there.
Start down there.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
All right, no, thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have a good night.
More information is better.
Okay, thank you.
And if you want to submit anything ahead of time,
Yeah, that would
instead
be-
of that night,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
bring it to the town clerk's office, I'm here a couple days a week in between,
Really?
so I can always pick it up.
Be honest with you, if you could get that,
I can bring it to you this coming week.
we're not gonna meet till December 11th, and she sends out the mail like the week before, so we need to have it like the 1st of December.
Chico.
Like I said,
Or anytime.
You know what I
we live
mean?
only 2 blocks away, so we
And
could
that way
have
there-
ran more if I had known.
I think we get your number.
I'm gonna get paid with.
Yeah, well,
No,
anything
that's
you want to
correct.
talk about, I get it, I'm here a couple times a week, so I can make
She
sure.
can have mine.
Yeah,
Why don't you just say give this to Amanda?
I got your phone
Oh,
number
yeah,
here,
yeah,
so
if you go to the town clerk's office.
It'll double it, doesn't matter
when I get your packet delivered from Amanda, when she does the mail out, I'll check it over and see if there's anything that I need, and then if it needs something special, you can bring it to the meeting.
Great.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye now.
Just Right, with the
Relatively smooth evening, boss.
Nice people.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Everybody's nice in the Acushnet.
Hey,
Wait,
We're
so
gonna
magic
pick Amanda,
words?
do we?
That's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Amanda, I'll have to use your pen.
Sure thing. Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
second.
Still gotta sign the minutes, though?
I have,
You already
What
voted
is
on
this?
it.
I just
Take it
wanna,
back.
I just
You
wanna
already voted
finish,
on
We
it.
voted good.
Mhm.
I'd like to finish the meeting if we could, just in case we have anything to discuss. Okay. Do we have any old business we want to discuss?
I still want to raise.
I gotta find it.
It's the third time this year. Nobody has any old business they want to discuss?
No, we haven't had any hassles. Everything seems to be
Anything
going
new you want to
smoothly.
discuss? Okay, then, in that case, with no further business in front of us, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.